worst bit, but no good day ever starts with, I was in Portsmouth. I was driving through Portsmouth and I was sat at some traffic lights and I saw my mate, Ben, cross the road in front of me. I thought, that's weird, because I live in Bournemouth and Ben lives in Ipswich. So the chance of me seeing him in Portsmouth is slim. So I went down my window and I did the only reasonable thing you can do in that situation. I went, "Oi, Ben, you wanker!" Then 4 things happened all at the same time. Ben turned around to see who was shouting at him. I realised it wasn't Ben. The lights went green and I stalled the fucking car. So now I'm sat in Portsmouth with a very angry man who, on second look, doesn't look much like Ben at all. Looking at me as if he wants some answers. So I thought, I need to get out of here. I was a bit flustered. So I went and parked up, went into Starbucks. I thought I'd get a coffee. Now, I don't know about you, but if I go into Starbucks or a coffee shop, the only thing I ever order is a flat white. Right? I don't want chocolate and sprinkles and pumpkin spice and all that shit. I don't want a coffee that's been bedazzled. I just want some anxiety in a cup. Went in and it said on the board, flat white, $4.25. But as he was ringing it up, he goes, "That'd be £4.30, please." I said, "No, it says $4.25 up." He goes, "Yeah, but you had a cup." What? Yeah, you had a cup. Well, what's the fucking alternative? Are you going to pour it in my hand? Put it in my pocket? No, it's 5p for the cup. It turns out that the correct answer to that question is bring your own cup. But, come on, mate, I'm paying £4 here for a cup of coffee that I could have made for 20p in my own house. What makes you think I'm organised enough to bring my own cup out? If I was organised enough to have my own cup, I'd be organised enough to put my own fucking coffee in it. Don't give me this bollocks about it being good for the environment, because you didn't grow these coffee beans in a window box in your flat, Jasper, did you? Starbucks have paid a Guatemalan farmer $3 a day to fly them all over the world. I'm not the fucking arsehole for expecting something to drink out of. And we just wouldn't accept this behaviour anywhere else. If you went out to the bar during the break, asked for a beer, and he just poured it over the bar, you'd go, "I think you've got that wrong, son." If he then said, "Well, if you wanted it in a glass," you should have said, "You'd be fully justified in calling him a cunt." Don't do that. He's not. He's fucking good as gold. Right, so I want to ask somebody in the audience a question, but so far everybody who's been asked a question has unpacked some pretty fucking deep. So I'm going to try you there, sir, with glasses on. What's your name?
Matt.
Hello, Matt. I wonder if you can answer me a question. What weighs more? It's not a difficult question, but there is a wrong answer. So just no pressure. What weighs more, a ton of feathers or a ton of bricks?
What do you say?
No, they don't. It's the feathers. See, if you've got a ton of feathers, not only have you got the weight of all those feathers, you've also got the weight of whatever you did to all those poor birds. And I've worked out, right, this is how weird I am. So say you were doing this experiment, right? Matt needs a ton of feathers, right? To get a ton of feathers, you would have to kill 41,000 pigeons. Now, are you all right with that? Because I don't think I am. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but it could be worse. If you decided, "Oh, pigeons are a bit big, I want to go with something smaller." If you went with robins, fucking hell, it's not me, it's him. You would have to kill 537,000 robins. I don't know how you sleep at night. That's over 500,000 robins you've killed there for no reason. Just calm the fuck down, Bernard. Anybody here have teenage children?
Yeah.
Are they pricks? If you haven't got teenage children, borrow some, because you will learn a lot about yourself and a lot about the world that we live in. When I say borrow, get permission. I'm not Jeffrey Epstein. I don't want Prince Andrew on telly making up bollocks about who can't blink or anything like that. Get permission, but you will learn a lot about stuff. You see, my two kids, 15 and 13, biggest pair of smart ass bellends you will ever wish to meet in your life. Alright? The problem is, I can't complain about it because I made them that way. I deliberately designed them and trained them to be like that because I too am a sarcastic small-time speller. And when it's the three of us and we're together and we're taking the piss at somebody else, it works perfectly, exactly how I wanted it to. The problem is, now they're a bit older, they've decided they can join forces and they've turned on me. To give you an idea, we went in the Chippy the other day to get some food, not for a day out. We went in the Chippy. When the food was ready, the woman handed it to me and she goes, "Enjoy your meal." And I said, out loud, "You too." Fuck. Got outside, the little one goes, "Dad, did you just tell the woman in the chip shop to enjoy the meal she's not about to eat?" I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "A bit weird, Dad. If I'd have done that, if I were you, to go, right, get in the fucking car." The older one took a slightly different approach. He kind of looked at me sideways and went, "Knobhead." If I'd called my dad a knobhead when I was 15, I wouldn't be here telling you this. But the world's changed. You see, you can't hit children, but you can't leave a mark. Very careful if you know what you're doing. You can get away with it. But the 15-year-old, he's been making me laugh recently because he, over the last 6 months or so, he started talking like he's in an episode of Top Boy. Do you know Top Boy, the show about the South East London gangsters and drug dealers? Everything is all man down, fam, blood, bruv, all this nonsense. We were on the phone the other day, just getting to the end of the phone call, and he goes, "Calm, fam, say nothing." What the fuck are you talking about? He'd already gone by this point. He had a drug deal to do or something. But he'd gone. The thing is, he's from a place called Verwood. Now, if you don't know where Verwood is, it's semi-rural East Dorset, halfway between Bournemouth and Salisbury. Do you know what else is halfway between Bournemouth and Salisbury? Fuck all. Fields, trees, horses. There's fuck all that. Tell you what isn't halfway between Bournemouth and Salisbury. South East London or Jamaica. So fuck knows what he thinks he's doing. But he was involved in probably the funniest conversation I've ever had in my life recently. So he's 15 and he's started to see girls and this sort of thing. And me and my ex-wife decided it was probably time we sat him down and had a conversation. Because frankly, at 47 years of age, I'm too young for grandchildren. And he probably doesn't want chlamydia. So let's make sure he's getting. So I said, basically, that's the conversation was, I said, look, if you need condoms, just let me know and I'll either get some for you or I'll give you the money and you can get them yourself. His mum and we got on great and I'm sure she was trying to help. But what she said was fucking insane. She said, just don't buy the flavoured ones because they don't taste of anything. There was a split second of silence. And then they both realised that she had told him that she sucks cock. She was trying to suck the words back in, and despite her vast experience, it wasn't fucking working. He was trying to teleport himself out of the room, and I was on the floor fighting for my fucking life. Honestly, I don't think I've ever laughed as much as I did. But seriously, I'm glad I have that kind of relationship with my kids where we can take the piss out of each other and be open. Because it shows they're confident, right? When I was young, I wasn't very confident. I was quite shy, in fact, and here's why. See, when I was about 7, we were getting ready for a nativity play at school. When you're 7, getting ready for a nativity play, the first thing you want to know is what part am I going to get? If you're a boy, you want to be Joseph. If you're a girl, you want to be Mary. Didn't get either of those. They went to Stephen Jenkins and Caroline Wilkes. And it's 40 years ago and I'm still not over it. I thought maybe that'd be alright, maybe I'll get to be a shepherd or a wise man. No, didn't get either of those either. Because my teacher, Mrs. Beecham, who, not to put too fine a point on it, was a fucking bitch, cast me as the wind. Yeah, you're fucking right. I'd never heard of it either. In fact, I've looked it up, I've rectified it. It's not fucking in there. It doesn't say, and lo, the Virgin Mary gave birth to the Saviour of mankind, but fuck me, was it blowy last night? She made it up. It's not even in the soundtrack. Silent night, holy night, all was calm. It's specifically calm. It's specifically fucking not there. But now you might be thinking, thinking, okay, so what does being the wind in a nativity play mean? What does it entail? I'll tell you. It meant wearing one of Mrs. Beecham's black pleated skirts around my neck, spinning around. Yeah, no, that's not the fucking funny bit, you wait. Spinning around, going, woo. I am the wind. But now you're probably thinking, okay, Zach, but it wasn't the part you wanted, but it's easy. You can't get that wrong. You can. You can. Apparently, if you're not very good at that, you need extra rehearsals. So while the rest of my class was in our classroom learning about Roger Redhat and the Village with Three Corners, I was sent out into the corridor on my own to practice being the wind. Right? Picture that, 6-year-old Zach spinning around, woo, I am the wind, till another teacher came out of her class to ask me what the fuck I thought I was doing. This was in 1985, it was before autism. We'll get you tested. She just looked at me like, oh, fucking dickhead. That's probably on a file somewhere. That's probably followed me around my whole life. Have you got Zach Lacey in your class? Yeah, just keep a fucking eye on it. Don't let him use a pen, just crayons. He's a dickhead. But they do say every story has a silver lining, and this no, they don't say that at all. They say every cloud has a silver lining. And this story does actually have a happy ending, because like I said, that happened in about 1985. And so yeah, 40 years ago. So Mrs. Beecham at the time had to be 60 years of age if she was a day. So now I can take comfort in knowing she's almost certainly fucking dead. So did we say we had some people in that who met on the dating sites? Yeah? You like this? Right, so I know, so something like I said, I got divorced a few years ago, so the last couple of years I've been in and around the apps, and I know girls, I know that men don't do ourselves any favours on the dating apps, alright? I know he's always holding a big fucking dead fish, always sending unsolicited dick pics, or asking if you want to sit on his chest, or something else massively inappropriate. But I've got to say, you don't make it any easier for us, right? Because I read something the other day, and this is completely borne out by my own experience, said that the top 20% best looking blokes on the dating apps get all the attention from 80% of the women. Right, so if you're a top 20 bloke, if you're a 9 or a 10, you've got it made. You've got your pick from the very optimistic 3s all the way up, right? Which is fine if you look like Brad Pitt, but for the rest of us, that means we're left with the goblins and the 1 and 2 boys. And unless you're a DJ from the 1990s, on the 1s and 2s isn't where you want to fucking be. And like I said, this is borne out by my own experience as well, because you'll be going about your day and your phone will buzz, you take your iPhone out of your pocket, or an Android if you're a loser. And you go, oh, a message from Tinder, somebody likes you on Tinder, let's have a look. Oh, hello Sandra, yeah, look exactly like an extra out of Lord of the Rings. But it skews everything, because on the rare occasions you do get a match from somebody with all her own teeth, with eyes pointing in the same direction, you think, well, there must be something fucking wrong with her. She must be mad as a bottle of twats. If I go out with her, she's going to scratch my car or stab me. Then you click match anyway, because you know the crazy ones are best in bed. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to look you in the eye there. That was awful, sorry. But if you've been on the apps, you know that the 3 main ones at the moment are Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge, right? They're all largely the same, but they do market themselves slightly differently, all right? So the way I tend to think of it is like this. Tinder, that's your Aldi Lidl range, complete with weird, crazy shit in the middle aisle. Went in for a pizza, you came out with a gazebo and chlamydia. Bumble, that's your solid middle of the road choice. That's your Sainsbury's, if you like. Then you've got Hinge, which is your slightly posher, more pretentious end, right? These aren't just any middle-aged, damaged people. These are M&S middle-aged. What I find is that, see, like I'm 47, so the general age range I look at is between 40 and 50, and what it turns out is that within a 30-mile radius of my house, all the middle-aged women, they all pretend they like hiking, which they don't, because nobody fucking likes hiking. They all like going on holiday, of course you fucking do, everybody likes going on holiday, but the one thing they all really love is paddleboarding. They cannot get enough of it. Right? But like I said, the apps are slightly different. So if you see a woman on Hinge, paddleboarding, she's on a really expensive paddleboard, got a £200 dry robe on, bottle of Prosecco on the board. The sea is lovely and calm, beautiful sunset in the background. You see a woman on Tinder, paddleboarding, she's floating down the canal on an old door. WKD, live, laugh, love type. But it's all largely the same thing. Anyway, I think my time is nearly up, so I'll just leave you with this. I know I've just spent a few minutes ragging on dating sites, but they're not all bad. See, a little while ago, I met a woman on a dating site, Bumble, Sainsbury's, Taste the Difference, and it was all going well, and I thought, we've been seeing each other for a couple of months, I thought, oh, maybe I'll do something nice, maybe I'll do something romantic. So later on in the day, I phoned her up and I said, do you like city breaks? She said, no, I don't, I prefer the countryside. Okay. I said, what do you think about Bristol? She goes, I don't like Bristol, I prefer Bath. Oh, no, okay. Well, you're not going to like what I've done. She goes, what have you done? Have you booked us a weekend away in Bristol? I said, no, I fucked your sister. I'm with Zach Lacey, thank you very much.
We've got one more act in this section for you, and just like the first section, we've got another Debbie talk. Let's give it a ooh.